Hi everybody, this is Felicia, and I am doing a layout for the Layout a Week blog, and this layout is very special to me. It is a layout of my mom and her best friend, and her best friend is my godmother, and this photo was taken back in the late 60s. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be aging a lot of these papers, making it look as old as possible without messing it up. And the first tool I'm using here on the edges is my Tim Holtz Distress tool. So I'm distressing all of the edges here because I want to make sure that it is completely aged here around the edges for good reason. And so I'm folding up all of the edges, and then I'm going to be using my burn tool to kind of burn it and make them a little bit on the crispy side there. So there you see me using my burn tool. But anyway, this layout is of my, like I said, my mom and her best friend, and they were on their way to the Potentate Ball. And I've done this layout. I mean, I've done a layout of this photo once before, but I decided to do it again because I wanted to make it look aged. So there, I'm using some ink there, the edge, the paper there. There you go. You can have a close-up look at that. And then once I finally finished the process of making this piece of paper that was once beige, aged, um, I'm drying it right now because I wet it and made it look more stained and crumpled it up and flattened it out. And now I'm drying it out here so it can have more of a crinkled up look. I usually do a better job with doing an aged look, um, but for some reason I couldn't find my other ink. So there you saw that. So now I'm going to be cutting some doilies, and those are going to be going on the layout as well. And those doilies are from the My Favorite Things. And here you're going to see me try to poke these things out, and they're so intricate that it's not even funny. I was trying my best. So then, of course, I had to skip that step. I did get the doilies punched out, though. So now I'm going to be taking this paper, and this paper is from this whole entire paper, and the die cuts and the chipboard that I'm going to be using on this layout is from the Bo Bunny collection, the new one there called Heritage. And I'm going to be fraying those edges there, tearing them and flipping them up there so that I can ink the edges and make it look a little bit more distressed and older or aged. And so I'm going to pull out there a dauber, and I'm inking where I tore out because it's white, and so I want to make sure that stays brown. And then once I get the ink on there, then I actually take some water and I run some, rub it down and kind of blend it a little bit better, and that way it can have a more distressed look to it. So there you see me tearing it there, adding some ink there on those spots. And the paper that's underneath it is brown already, so and plus it just kind of helps. There you see me adding some water down there with a little spray bottle there, making that look a little bit more distressed. Sorry, it's a little off camera there. And now I'm going to dry it, and so that way it can look a little bit more crinkled. And I like that look that it has too once it's all done. I mean, the camera doesn't really do it any justice. You have to see it in real life. It looks absolutely, does look pretty aged once I'm done with it. I'm putting some glue down, the glue flaps down, and then got some inking there to do on the edge there. So now I'm going to be putting some tape. You see me put tape in the center, but I'm also putting it on the edges there of the corners because I want to make sure that they stay down. And then some of the distressed spots too as well. So there I go, put it down. Kind of looks like wallpaper, that pattern paper there. It's kind of cool, I like it. So now I got it all down, making sure it's all secured. I'm going to also, you saw me run my finger down there, put some adhesive down the sides there because I want to make sure that most of that stays down. And plus I'm putting plenty of adhesive so it can stay down and doesn't roll up on me. So So there you go. It's down real good. And I really like that look. So right there you see me putting some glue because I want some of those flaps to stay open, the flaps that I tore there. Alrighty, so now I'm going to be adding this vine like leaf ribbon down there. It is so awesome. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen, actually, to be honest with you. And I'm really not a big ribbon fan, but this was cool. And I'm going to be putting using my glue Zots to glue down the ribbon there and on every other leaf. There, so there you see me pull out the Zots. And I'm going to be cutting the Zots in half because they fit perfectly right underneath the leaves. So that way they'll stick down. And that is some powerful. Those Zots are so powerful. I think those are from Thermoweb, and boy, is that powerful. So there you see me putting them down on every other leaf there at the base there of this layout. And I haven't seen my godmother in years, and I'm going to be making a special trip back east to go see her. She lives in New York State, and I was actually born in New York State, but I was born in Schenectady. Schenectady, New York is actually one of the oldest cities in the United States. Isn't that interesting? And it's actually the city where it has the first GE plant. Anybody know about GE, General Electric? You'll know it's a huge place there. I don't know if it's still running, but there's a close up there of those ribbons. See, isn't that cool? I like that. But like I said, I don't know if it's still operating there, but that was Schenectady is like a historical town and city, and they got a lot of historical stuff there. So now I am getting ready to put down this card. Now that card, I cut part of it off because I didn't want it to be too big because my journaling is only going to be it's going to be in that space. So I'm going to distress the edges here as well with some ink. And then I'm going to use the distress tool to distress it a little bit more. So there we go. Trying to get it distressed a little bit more. And like I said, the camera doesn't do it justice. It's like you have to see it in person to know that this was a cool and aged looking page, you know? So I'm going to place that there temporarily until I figure out if that's where I want it. In the meantime, I'm going to fool around with those doilies that I cut out. And I'm going to cut them in half. And those are also going to be distressed with some ink because they're going to go flush right up, right at the edge there. So do you see me taking the ink and a dauber again and distressing the edges all the way around, even to the part that's going to be flush. So you can see it. Now you can see it actually too. It gives it a little bit more detail. And I think I'm going to be doing that one. That one I'm going to cut a little bit more off here because I don't like the way it's looking. So I'm going to definitely cut it. And I thought I'd use some of the extra ribbon as well to put up there at the top of the layout there because I wanted to carry some of the green to the top, even though that little patch up there is green. So there you see me putting some glue there on that doily, making sure it stays down. And I'm going to put that leaf right there. I got it upside down, but I eventually turn it right side up. I tell you. Ah. So I'm going to be gluing that one down as well, flush right up against the edge there. So then I figured out, yep, I need to cut that. So what I end up doing is cutting a little bit off of that doily eventually. And in the meantime, I'm pulling out like something I want to put at the top. At first, I thought that would be a good idea, but then I saw the banner. Yeah, and that chipboard set is also in the Bo Bunny Heritage Collection as well. Yeah, so I'm going to put that banner up there. That banner's pretty cool. And I think that banner says, let's see what it says. It says, "The Story of Our Life." That's not going to be my title, but I just thought I'd put it up there because it needed something at the top of that layout there. So here you see me gluing down that last doily. And he's going to go right, kind of right up to the edge there, butted up against the edge of the layout, because I don't want the whole thing. And so that is, actually, that turned out a perfect spot for that. So now I am going to grab some buttons here, and they're aged as well. I didn't do that. They came like that. So I was like, wow, this is a good idea. So there you see me turn the vine right side up too. I told you I had it upside down. So I'm going to use some Zots there to glue those buttons down. And then I'm also going to glue this banner down. There we go. Even though it had adhesive on it, it still needed a little bit of glue. So now I'm digging in my sequins here, and I tried it. I thought I had some brown sequences, but I ended up not having any brown sequences. And so I ended up putting down some gold ones, which worked out fine because they weren't like, you know, coming at you kind of gold. They were a little bit more muted into the background, and it worked out pretty good. So there you see me taking some out and just kind of throwing them down on the page there. Trying to make them kind of look like, well, I'm trying to make them look like they've just been thrown down on the page, but you know that sometimes that doesn't always happen. So now I'm gonna glue all these down. I'm gonna glue a few down, and because I don't want you to watch me glue every last one of those things down, because there's quite a few of them on the page there. So there I go. Now that I'm finished gluing those down, I'm also adding the title there. And so there you go. Title is on. And then you see me fool around with these a little bit because I thought I had them in the right spot, but then it didn't work out. So there you see me taking them off and putting them on. The cool part about that it was a happy accident because once I pulled them off, they kind of got a little crinkled in them, and then they looked like they were distressed and old as well, which was pretty cool. I started going to put lines down there, but then I changed my mind and I said I'm going to go for it and I'm going to freehand this and hopefully the lines will come out straight. So I'm really not a straight-minded person. So let's see. So the journal says my mother and godmother were on their way to the potentate ball back in the late 60s together. They were best friends and still to this day they talk and they talk and they talk and they talk on the phone, and they're always talking on the phone. So my godmother still lives back east, so we're gonna go plan to visit her hopefully soon here. So now I figured out that's where I want it. And I think oh yeah, I'm using some glue dots to put down that other part of that leaf there. So there you have it. A nice aged, distressed looking page yeah, there you go. See, look at that. Alrighty, so I want to thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned because I have some more videos coming soon, and take care. Bye-bye.